Now, there are a few books that have been written that I would like to talk about today that are offered by Reformation Heritage Books. And the first one is, let me get my order here. The first one is A Portrait of Paul. It was written by Rob Ventura and Jeremy Walker, and it is a tremendous blessing, and it is a great need today. You know, one of the greatest needs in America is simply biblical churches. But you can't have biblical churches unless you have biblical pastors, biblical elders. And that is what this book is about. It's looking at the pastoral ministry of the Apostle Paul and then seeing how we can imitate it. Let me just read to you some of the things on the back of the book to introduce it to you. What does a true pastor look like, and what constitutes a faithful ministry? How can we identify the life and labors of one called of God to serve the church of Jesus Christ? To address these questions, Rob Ventura and Jeremy Walker examine how the Apostle Paul describes his pastoral relationship to the people of God in Colossians chapter 1, verse 24 through chapter 2, verse 5. By discussing these essential attitudes, qualities, and characteristics of a faithful minister of Christ, A Portrait of Paul provides gospel ministers an example of what they should be and demonstrates for churches what kind of pastor they should seek. Now, the one thing that's unusual about this book is it is of tremendous benefit to someone who's just starting the ministry, someone who's been in the ministry for 30 years, or for a church that is trying to determine God's will in seeking out a pastor for the congregation. I actually wrote a recommendation for this book, and I put, "This work on the Christian ministry is a clarion call to true devotion and piety in the pastorate. The theology is pure, and the language is as powerful as it is beautiful." I meant every word of it. This book is a tremendous help to me, because as we know from 1 Timothy and from Titus, that the chief qualities of a pastor, of an elder, have to do with character, with godliness, with the imitation of Christ. So it's A Portrait of Paul, Reformation Heritage Books.